Hi guys, and welcome to episode 20 of Game Chat. I'm Chris, and with me today we have Kate.
Hey.
Henry.
Hello.
And Grant.
Hello.
Now, me and Grant have got cool Final Fantasy VII related backgrounds. I've got Midgar.
What do you mean? This is just where I am.
These people are just behind me. But the way we're going to do this episode, we'll go through the history of, like, in terms of how personal history with Final Fantasy VII. Then, before we played this one, obviously, and then we'll go through basically our spoiler-free thoughts, and then going into spoiler territory, but we'll give people like notice before we go into spoilers. But yeah,
and we're not going into full spoilers across the game. We're only sticking to the spoilers
as much as we
got up to,
as it is, to be fair, as much as we can. But yeah, but yeah, Final Fantasy VII. I don't know who to go to first. Kate, your general history with that, like, did you play it beforehand?
I played it. I played Crisis Core, played Dirge of Cerberus, watched Advent Children complete a lot. So, yeah.
So everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Henry?
So growing up on like Nintendo consoles, I didn't actually have a PlayStation until about 2009. So when I got a PS3 that year at Christmas, one of the first things I downloaded was Final Fantasy VII. So I played it through like the PS1 classics, beat that, first Final Fantasy ever played, and then I went on to Crisis Core as well afterwards. Didn't do Dirge of Cerberus, much to my shame, but I did watch Advent Children as well. So I've got a fair bit of history with the game.
But did you watch Advent Children complete though?
Yes, I did. I got
the
Blu-ray.
That is the way. Same.
Grant?
I remember like years and years ago, I started to play 7 and then got stuck like really early on and sort of stopped. Like I just couldn't find the next screen, so I just gave up. So then into 7 pretty much blind.
Fair enough. But you played over Final Fantasies before though.
The first one I played was the Crystal Bearers on the Wii, which was
my god!
Wow!
Granny's baby.
I then played Type 0 because Type 0 came with the demo for 15, and then I played 15. Yes. Played a lot of 15, and I've played Smash. So
I mean, Cloud in Smash, so you know.
And Kingdom Hearts, like.
Fair. There's a link there.
I'm familiar with this like crazy storyline that Nomoru can write. So.
Yeah.
So really, I'm the
tell you though, Grant. You know, if you press, I don't know what button it would have been back then, but if you're playing it again, if you press the touchpad button, it shows you the arrows and which way you can go.
Yes,
I found that out earlier.
You could have done that back then.
No, so back then was the PS1. I was like, I borrowed it off a friend, so I could have done with that. Because I don't think I found Aerith's house, because it was just like tucked behind a corner. I was just like running around Sector 5, like, where am I going?
Sure, yeah.
It shines bright green. The way it shines bright green.
Yeah, you know what? That wasn't clear. Anyway, we're getting off track. But anyway, yeah.
This is a call-out podcast for all you scrubs.
I've never been a Final Fantasy guy. Like, that's never been my jam. But as soon as 7 Remake got shown, I mean, to be fair, I did try 15 before this, but never really properly got into it, although that's changing now.
Good.
But 7 Remake was really my first proper Final Fantasy, and like before that, like I knew it was a big deal, and I know that people would love it, so that's why I went into it, and I was happy. But yeah, we'll move on to our thoughts now. I overall just absolutely love the game. I think it's one of my favourite games I've played ever. And that's shocking coming from someone who's never really liked Final Fantasy. But, I mean, anyone else? Any thoughts? What's your overall general, like, did you like it? Did you not like it? Go for it. Kate, go on.
I really, really enjoyed it. I think people who played the old one, you get that extra sort of layer of like, you see something and you think, oh my god, do you remember how it used to look? Or, oh, do you remember when this happened? And you see it again now, and everything is so good. it adds a different layer to the game, I think, because you get hit with that nostalgia, but at the same time, I am of the opinion, I know it's very divided at the minute, I am of the opinion that I enjoy what the remake has done. I think it's on a good track so far, personally.
Okay.
Did you have that thing playing the remake where you're just like, this looks exactly how I remember? Because I had that
Yeah,
with like
you know-
Spyro Reignited. And it's just like, this is perfect. And then you go back to the original and just, here's the 4 polygons that are clouds.
The one criticism I would say of the character design, I feel everyone's too skinny. Everyone looks too skinny, especially
Apart from
Rena.
Barrett ain't no skinny.
Look too overly comical. I know Barrett's meant to be big, but I think they could have scaled the normal sized people up a bit and scaled him down. They just look a bit. There's just something off about the size of them for me personally. I think because Advent Children as well is the last time we saw everyone looking like not like a little cheap model.
They don't have oars for arms anymore.
Yeah, like Advent Children, everyone's quite like soft and everyone's like round and like everyone looks like in proportion, and then in this everyone's like super skinny, and it just looks weird. That's my only like visually. That's my only sort of. It's okay though. I mean, they look really good. They don't look like porcelain dolls anymore. They all look real.
They have mouths, which is a good start.
Well, yeah, there's
Always good start.
Yeah. It is a very, very good game.
Henry, your overall thoughts?
I absolutely loved it. I went in with admittedly some spoilers as to the changes. I won't go into that now, obviously, but I was like, okay, what have they done here? I just found myself absolutely hooked on it. Yeah, I didn't have the same issue with like the characters, but I mean, it's been about 6-7 years since I've watched Advent Children. Never mind the 10 since playing the original games. So I didn't really think of it in that view. I just thought like some of it felt a little bit dragged out. I thought because of how much they expand the story. Because like having recently gone back to the original, I found myself beating Midgar section within about 3.5 hours, maybe 4. And to expand that into like, well, for me anyway, a 30-hour playthrough was quite a lot.
Yeah, like, because I'm going back now and playing through the original. Like,
Yep, I've done that.
I haven't got to the point where it cuts off with remake, but like, I'm relatively close, and it's like I've done about 5 hours, and it's like it's crazy how like nearly a 30, possibly 40-hour game becomes like has come from that. It's mental, and it's really impressive.
Some serious world building.
Yeah, and you can see why it took them so long to make. But like the amount they just filled in within like between like missions that you would have in the original, it's just like crazy. And I absolutely loved it. All the characters, like some I'm not a big fan of, but I generally like they all had like.
Chris is about to wage war on everyone's favourite characters. Chris, don't forget Grant. Don't forget I Am Baby. Let him have his say first before you like start class warfare.
Before we start the shipping wars, like.
Yeah.
Have I asked your overall thoughts, Grant?
Not yet.
No.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were already going. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not normally a fan of turn-based combat, so I'm glad they real-timed it up. But coming from 15 and Kingdom Hearts, where it's basically been, here is one button, press that to win.
Yeah.
I think they finally, it's taken them a while, but Square Enix has finally managed to master that. It's real time, but there's also a menu you can use to do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that. It doesn't feel
it's the
like
perfect balance for me.
Yeah, they're not struggling to get somewhere like in Kingdom Hearts from like, okay, my fire spell is like 4 menus away, and if I can't do anything in between, so that's good. And it's good mix up of the character. Every character feels different, and I will say mostly fun to play. Yeah. It took me a while to get into Barrett and Aerith, and if you play melee Barrett, you're wrong. Like,
no. As soon as he got his melee weapons, I was like, no.
I got the skills from them, and was like, right, back to gun.
Straight back to gun. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it looks very pretty, which is nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the cutscenes in that game are like the best cutscenes I've ever seen in a game. Like they are beautiful. And
other than like the beginning, the two in the middle, and the end, it's very seamless between the gameplay as well.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, there's not much loading in it really.
Oh, now do you know what?
Hold it.
Now this is one thing that really got on my nerves in this game. I don't know if it was just my game personally. I would walk up to someone and I would press triangle to start talking, and Cloud would go, and he would stand there for ages.
I had that a couple of
before the conversation loaded in, and it was so irritating. It happened so many times.
It only happened a few times for me, but yeah, that is annoying.
Another thing, we're all here like there's no loading times. How many times in a mission? How many times in a mission did you have to walk so slowly, and you couldn't run? There were certain like mechanics in the game where you had to go so slow, and it's so irritating because they drag it out so long. That is really
it is irritating, but I the fact that the next one will probably is going to come out on the next gen consoles. I feel like they might get rid of a lot of that.
I hope so.
I feel like that's a limitation of the technology because they have to load it in somehow, and they don't want load screens. So it's better than a load screen, to be fair.
On the flip of that, what I did think was cool was, say, like, you're with Aerith and Tifa. It was in the sewers, and I was running down this corridor. I was walking down a corridor, and I pressed the button to start running. And I think it's cool how them two are in front of me, and they kind of start to run. And when they're sort of so far in front, your like Cloud starts to run and he speeds up. I thought that was pretty cool.
So they kind of like pace themselves with each other, kind of.
Well, obviously they must have wanted the NPCs in front of you for a reason. So I thought that was just like a little, like, you don't normally see that. Normally you just start running and then you can't get past them and you get stuck.
I did have that problem a little bit. Like if I was going, like they'd clearly gone the right way, and I was like, so I'm going to go the other way. And so then they'd follow me down a narrow bit, and then just like, I can remember a point in the sewers where I'm getting a treasure chest, and I turn around and Aerith is right there, and I just can't
just get out the way.
Knock her out the way, so then I can just carry on.
That was another thing I appreciated as someone who likes to look everywhere. I like the way that other characters will be like, oh, so we're going on a detour, so you know that you're safe to explore.
Yeah, you know you can explore
the next part. Yeah, that's cool.
Because I hate that in games when you want to explore, but you don't know which way's the story, and you don't know whether that's going to cut you off from going back to explore afterwards, and you're just like, hey,
I did find that annoying sometimes. So it's the story bits, and it's like it forces you. It's like, no, you can't go that way just yet. Like, come back.
Yeah.
Like, from story purpose, I kind of get it, but it was annoying just being like, that treasure chest is literally there. I can see it. I had that in Wall Market a lot. There's all these NPCs just standing, and it's like, I can see it. If you just move a little bit.
Oh, I know what you mean.
There's my potions, and it's just like, but nah, they were in the way.
But like the graphics in that game, like I think some of the most impressive eyes I've ever seen done.
Yes,
especially in cutscenes. Like it's just crazy, and like the fact that you can see even like Tifa's abs move, which is really like super impressive. Just in cutscenes, you could like when she's doing like kicks and stuff, you can see them like move and like contract. It's really like impressive when you notice, and I was well impressed with that.
I did notice some of the NPC mouths were a bit funny though.
Yeah, anyone who wasn't a main like character didn't look that great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was also part, because obviously I had English audio, so I don't know if it's slightly better if you have the Japanese audio, if it's more synced up or not.
Maybe. But then, the main character's audio was fine, but you'd think they'd do the same for everything else, I suppose. But maybe. I
suppose they put more effort into the main characters, which you can see why. But yeah.
But like that's my only issue with the graphics was the fact that in cutscenes it looks amazing, and the main character models look great, and then sometimes the backgrounds just felt the textures were a bit off.
Yeah,
they weren't popping in necessarily in time.
Did you all have the Minecraft door in Slum 7?
What?
I just mean like there were certain doors in the Slum 7 that had like Minecraft textures around like the door frames, and no matter how like I would like move, I'd be like, oh, they'll pop in a minute, and they just never did. So
That's
Not that I noticed.
no,
I didn't notice that particular one.
I'm not
But,
scrubbing it. I'm playing it on a PlayStation 4 Pro. Like I haven't got like an old PlayStation, but like my conversations are taking about 20 years, and I've got Minecraft door frames. So
I think
Maybe
there were
that's
some
glitches.
reported issues about the textures, but I didn't really look into it too much. I just saw a couple of articles pop up here and there. I didn't see it much myself, but
it's nothing
yeah,
like
I know
game breaking.
it's not just you.
Yeah. It doesn't take that much away from the game.
No.
I imagine it's something that's only going to get better with the next gen versions of this one and the new the part 2 or part 3, how many we get. Like that's only going to get
7
better.
parts.
I reckon it's going to be 3 parts.
Can you imagine 7?
Please, not
Oh my
7
God.
parts.
We don't
It's gonna be
like
3.
40 years later we're here again with another podcast.
I will find Nomura if that happens.
I think realistically it'll be 3, maybe 4.
Maybe 4.
No, I've
I
Henry.
think 3 at
I
most.
feel part 2
Hmm.
is going to end where disc 2 cuts off.
When
Okay.
does for disc 1
in the
cut
note.
off?
Without spoiling necessarily anything.
Yes.
Trying to remember. It's like I say, it's been 10 years. I haven't got to that stage yet on the Switch version.
I only said it like this because there's something happens that's very big, and people tend to know it by saying, "Oh, it's where disc 2 ends." So, if I had to take a guess, I would probably say disc 1. Henry, how far are you on the Switch version? Where have you got to?
So yeah, okay.
Are you past the remake?
I've just done like the big flashback sequence, like after you leave Midgar.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you're in
the one
Calm.
there.
You're in
Yeah.
Calm.
That's right. Just left.
Oh, do you know what? If I had to take a guess, I would have said it ended like I don't know. Do you know? I can Google it.
Just thinking, if this one hasn't gone up to the end of disc 1, it feels like it'd be a lot to put all of disc 2 and the rest of disc 1 into part.
Do you know
2,
what
and
though?
then I don't know what part 3 happens.
I feel like they did a very, very good job of setting up the world, setting up the Shinra, the sort of how the president is going to frame Avalanche. That isn't like you have to get quite far into the original for that. Whereas in this one, they kind of state it a lot earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like this one had a lot more to fill in. It had a lot more background. It had to sort of explain why these people are doing what they're doing, because otherwise it kind of
just feels a bit out of nowhere.
And replaying the original, there's like I've got to the bit where the remake ends, and like you've not even seen Sephiroth, and
you don't
he is in the
for a long time.
No.
So they've set up the world, they've set up motivations, they've set up the universe a lot better. But I feel once we get into the next disc, well, the next game, there's not going to be that much faffing around. But the next part of the story is a lot of little towns where you don't really spend that much time, so they could pack a lot into the next one if they don't faff around.
Because what they do is that, without giving away any sort of story details, it essentially moves from like that more linear Midgar section into an open world. So I can see why they left it there, so they didn't implement like a whole brand new system right before the end. But
the first bit needed to be expanded upon because you get nothing in the original, and I will
say one thing. I do kind of wish they didn't expand on like the whole ghost train stuff. I was just that bit I wasn't so fond of.
That.
I wasn't into it at all.
Especially because I've passed that bit in the original, and that is like
one screen,
2 screens worth of stuff, and that's like a decent chunk of the game.
Literally it.
In the remake.
I just wanted to get back to the support. I just wanted to get back to
I was feeling the same, to be fair, because...
Oh, my bad. No, sorry.
What?
Where disc 1 ends is where I think the next part should end. It would be drama. It would cause so much outrage. It would be amazing. Sorry for new people, but it would be amazing. So yeah.
Per disc, they're going to have 2 games.
I'm looking at a chapter breakdown.
I'm
looking at a chapter breakdown in like a walkthrough from the original, where the remake cut off is chapter 1.17.
So what? So chapter 1, part 17.
So literally 17 little tiny pieces of this walkthrough, and they're not large they're not like a lot of text. Is where the first one cut off. So they've literally got like this one goes to 1.45. So disc 1, part 45.
Wow.
So you know what? Maybe it will be more than 3 discs then if we're breaking it down like that.
But like, even you say that it doesn't seem like much of the original game, but like it definitely felt like a whole game within itself.
Yeah,
like, warranting a whole story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like it cut off at like
a point that made sense.
Yeah, it did. It cut off at a point that made sense. I felt like it could have cut off many times before that, within that last few hours.
Sure.
I was like, oh, it's going to end now, and then it was like, oh no, well, we'll keep going. Okay, there's more. But it definitely felt like
1 a.m.
Yeah, I was like, I was at a certain bit at like 12 o'clock in the morning. Well, that night, whatever. But and then it kind of just kept going, and I didn't get till 4 o'clock.
Like,
I was like,
this is okay. Right.
But there's definitely towards the end of the game, you get to a point where you're like, well, I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, same as many games at that stage.
Yeah. But like, I think the whole world that they built within that game is it feels, I really like love it. It feels lived in. It feels well built, and all the characters, like, they've all got different motivations. They're all like well-rounded characters, and I really enjoy that. I don't think I've cared so much about a group of characters since Mass Effect.
Oh,
and that's like
controversial.
Yeah, like that was the last time I've cared about a bunch of characters as much as I have in this game, and I need to know what happens. I need part 2.
I will say this as well. I am very glad that they expanded upon the stories of like Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, because there was almost nothing in the original. So to actually give them like personality was really nice.
And they've become characters you actually care about.
Yeah,
and that's just like
not just background fodder.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just we have Biggs and Wedge a lot. Let's just carry that on for a bit.
Literally. Yeah. My main problem with the original Final Fantasy 7 but I've got a lot of love for a lot of the background side characters. I love the Turks are my favourite part. I really love Tifa. I don't particularly like Cloud. I don't like Aerith or Eris, whatever.
Aerith.
I knew Grant would be an Aerith fan.
I do not like Barrett. Right, I've never really liked. There's other characters who I absolutely hate the bones of, but we haven't seen them yet. But so like that's why I've never really sort of, like, I know people say 7 is like the best Final Fantasy ever. I can't really commit. Coming back and playing this new one, I got a lot more respect for Cloud.
To be fair, there is a bit of nostalgia cloud for people who say like 7 is the best one because it was like the first big 3D one, obviously. First one a lot of people were introduced to when we started actually localizing them properly. So I can kind of get it. Eris
is a lot more likable as a character.
I hate her at the start. I grew to like her.
Barrett, I still don't really like Barrett's character. I haven't
Barrett's
my mind about Barrett.
He's very over. He's a very over the top. He's Mr. T stereotype for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very over the top.
Playing the original, he's just kind of not a very nice guy. Whereas in this one, he's actually got that passion.
You can see
his speech in the lift in the original was basically like, "Planet's dying." Right. Whereas in this one, he's got like passion. He's got that passion. Yeah. It's like
that's what I mean. Like
whereas
his redeeming quality for me is like caring about Marlene as much as he does. Like that's why he's doing all this. Like that's his redeeming quality for me. That's why I like a bit more towards the end of the game.
They've set us up this like Shinra versus the people a lot better in the remake than in the original. You just like you're loading, you're like Shinra's the bad guy, and it's like, well, you know, whereas in this one, and it's not so black and white in this one. It's like, well, you know, they're still doing bad things, and I think there's a lot of like time to reflect upon that, and I think that kind of, it adds more to the story.
Like
I think there are points they could have done that better, though, but it definitely is better than it. The original feels like an abridged version now because all the dialogue is like 4 boxes, and we're like, right, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is true.
I think like the fact that like it's basic. The stories are basically about the planet. They're destroying the planet and using all its like resources and stuff and killing it. That is it. The whole like comparison to like what's happening in the real world with fossil fuels and stuff. I think that's why it's such a strong story, and it like people care about that stuff, and that makes it definitely hit hard, I guess.
It resonates, especially the fact that it's not just like a new story for the modern age. It's one that's, you know, as I said before, like nearly 25 years old now.
And we've still not learned.
No, we haven't.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
But do we want to go into spoilers now, or has anyone got anything else they want to talk about? Combat, maybe.
Combat is fluid.
Combat is amazing.
I really love the combat. It's for me, it's a perfect mixture between hack and slash and turn based, because you can like you build up your ATB bar, and then you can kind of do some thoughtful combat by choosing who's attacking where and who's doing what, and it really felt just felt really good. Really,
Cloud Punisher mode is amazing. It is amazing.
I think they showed that off really well, especially in like the Reno fight. Like, that is the time when Punisher comes into.
That's the only time I've ever blocked in that game.
Wow.
I'm not sorry. I don't block. I dodge roll, and Reno's my like. He's my favourite character, and I'm like trying to fight him. I'm like, why can't I stagger him? They've given him all these like you can do all this mad stuff now. Like you had a baton before, like he's definitely moved up in the world. And it's like I'm there, and I'm like, why can't I stagger him? And I'm like, oh, I knew it was going to be either like the parry or the block thing or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. And
it's so annoying. But the minute you get him staggered, you just like hit him with everything you've got, like throw all your magic at him, and just hope that it's enough, so I don't have to block again.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Ever since I never used block up to that point, and then after that I was like, maybe I should use block.
Yeah,
but I used block a little bit more, and it definitely helps a lot. Yeah, especially in that last fight for me.
But no one else I've blocked with, and any time the weapon skill was like, 10% damage reduction when guarding. I was like, ignore.
I kept forgetting I could block as other characters other than Cloud, because it makes sense with the guy with the sword. But I was like, I wasn't blocking
with. Just there, like, you can't shoot now.
But I think all the different characters you can play as feel very different to each other in terms of combat, and I think that works well.
I know you did, Chris. You changed to the other characters a lot, didn't you?
Yeah,
did anyone else do that?
I didn't trust the AI to do it themselves.
I've changed. I've focused mainly Cloud, mainly Tifa, because it took me a while to get into the more ranged combat of Barrett and Aerith.
Yeah.
But like once I got used to Barrett, I was like, oh, okay, no, this is actually really good. And then it was that more of that swapping between. Once I got more into each character, like I still don't quite get Aerith, but
I just used
the others. Like,
that's all I used Aerith for.
I used Barrett for healing. Like he was like, he had my like.
He will heal you with his bullets.
I used the command menus to tell them what to do. It was very rare I actually turned into them, unless like it made me do it.
So I never used that, and I never used.
I used that a lot. Yeah.
I never put certain moves to certain. You know, when you map them to buttons rather than go into X and then choose it in the menus. I just constantly just did it with the menus. It's probably why the game took me a lot longer than a lot of you.
What was it? You took what was it? 47 hours? Was
47 hours overall. But I was exploring everything.
How?
I was looking at trophies, trying to do.
I did 41 hours, and I feel I got most things.
How did you do, Henry?
Say again.
Just go around. How many hours did people do? So you did 41.
I don't even know, you know?
I did 47.
I did 30, and I still did all the side missions.
How'd you do it so quick?
I know, right?
I don't know. I thought that was normal. People were saying 30 hours is normal. Then apparently you guys are in the 40s. I don't
know how long it took me.
You were about 30 something, I think.
Yeah, do you know what though? I'm a scrub and I love the Colosseum, so I did every Colosseum match.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
I love the Colosseum.
I only did like the story ones. I didn't do like anything beyond that for Colosseum.
Did you do the BR missions with the summons as well?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I didn't do all of them.
Chadley.
I missed.
Ignis's love child.
I've developed a new materia.
It's just Ignis, but for materia instead of recipes. That's
Literally,
all he is.
He's pretty much that. Yeah. Did anyone? Well, I'll get into it when we talk about spoilers.
That's spoilers.
Right.
Did we all play on normal mode as well?
I played on normal mode.
Yeah.
No, I started on normal mode. And I played till the mission where you go topside is the best way to say it. And on that day, I started seeing, because obviously I move in a lot of weeby circles, and I started seeing all these things. We have to talk about that ending. Oh my god, when this happened, and I was like, if I don't put a shift in on quick, I am going to see the end. So I literally switched it to easy mode and just went through the rest of the game in less than 2 days. I am going to go back and I am going to play it again, and I will move up the mode, but I couldn't risk it because I wanted to experience it myself.
Is anyone going to try hard mode?
No.
I'm doing it now.
Heal. I'm out.
I started trying it in hard mode because you can't use items, can you?
No.
No, I can't be fucked with that.
I might try it. We'll see. Because I'm trying to platinum it, and there's a trophy saying do everything in hard mode, and I'm like, this might take a while.
I was gonna platinum it, then I remembered, wait, that's on there. Nah. Because I did one of the Colosseum round. Actually, I didn't even do the full round on classic mode because I heard classic mode.
What is that? Like,
what I heard was that it was for more of the people who wanted it as a more turn-based thing. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And what they mean by that is any bit that's not the ATB menu, you don't control, and the AI controls. However, the AI doesn't control it very well.
Yeah.
So any of like the just auto attack sort of.
To me, that sounds like easy mode.
It was just I didn't even finish one round of the Colosseum because it was like I'm just waiting for the ATB bar to fill up, and it was really slow. I'm just like,
that
does
not sound fun to play.
No, I thought the ATB would go like really quick, so all you were doing was all the menuing all the time, so it felt more of that turn-based, but it just basically like here's the battle stuff.
Did it feel like the game was holding your hand for a lot of it?
Well, not even. It was just basically. It felt like more of like a quick time event, like when the ATB bar was done, and it was like, and you just press 2 buttons, and it's like, okay, I'm doing fire now. Then I've got to wait 20 seconds so I can cast fire again. Like,
I didn't bother.
I can see that getting frustrating. I did look at it, and I was like, maybe I'll try this, but then.
That's why I was glad I could try it in a Colosseum, and then just be like,
rather than
this is bad.
Yeah. Did anyone go back and do the 3rd Colosseum?
No, not yet.
No, because I haven't either. I'm just curious as to whether it gets more difficult or whatever. I don't know.
I've looked online on a lot of it. Some of like the ones you have to do that chapter on hard mode before you can get some of like the top tier.
Yeah.
Just like
I might then forget that.
I wish there was like once I beat the game, I could just go to the Colosseum instead of having to replay the entire chapter.
Yeah, that's the one thing annoying about going back in at the end. Should we jump into spoilers now? Because I can't. Really think of anything I want to say about the game. That's
fine. Let's go into.
So change my background
for those watching,
edit,
Grant changes
his
background.
This is it.
It's spoiler mode.
I've left the Don's mansion. I'm now in the rest of Wall Market. So.
If you like that video and want to see more like it, then click this playlist button here. If you happen to want to subscribe to us and check out all our content, then click this amazing sexy button right here. Look how enticing it is. You know you want to click it. And if you're already subscribed to us, well then you are already an awesome human being.